Before you give someone your heart, before you decide they're the one, right? Before you give the keys to your peace, your future, all the soft parts of you, all the real intimate and sacred things about you that don't just get given to anyone else. Before you decide someone is worthy of going on your journey of legacy with you, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're walking our journey. We're laying the groundwork to leave our legacy behind us, right? Before you go and you decide this person's the one I'm going to lock in with for the long haul and all that good stuff, which is obviously it's a big deal. Ask yourself this one thing. Can this person, or is this person fit to be there? Will they be there and stick and stay with me through the crash? Will they still be there through all the difficult times? Most importantly, the difficult times that I have with them. Not just to be a support system to me, but whenever they're the person in question that I'm going through this crash with, or they're going to double down in and anchor in with me. See, anyone can love you whenever it's convenient, whenever things are going smoothly, whenever they're admired by you, right? When their ego is untouched. See, it's one thing to be able to still love you whenever they're not the center focus of the frustrations or of your obstacle, right? And, it's convenient for them to get a chance, an opportunity to be your support system through the tough stuff you're facing, which is very important, by the way, right? Don't let me, take away any significance out of that. But that's the easier thing to do because it requires less self-cultivating to be able to still stand in that fire with you and choose to love you, over that ego sometimes, right? Now, some people haven't built themselves to even be able to be there for someone whenever they're not the focus of their partner's struggle too. Absolutely. But that's on lighter tiers. That should be basic, right? I should expect that the person I'm going to lock in with at the very least will be there to support me through my tough times, right? But what about when it's our tough time? Because real love shows up whenever it's inconvenient, when things are intense, right? Whenever your wounds bump into theirs, that's when it gets real, right? And it's no longer about how pretty your relationship looks. And it becomes more about, will they still choose you when loving you gets hard, or when love itself gets hard, when choosing you means having to choose some difficult things they have to wrestle with inside of themselves to love you. And ultimately, are they choosing the relationship and your unity, or are they choosing themselves and their ego, right? Which one's more important to them? Are they choosing your bond or self-serving reasons? So here's the truest test that lets you know who you're truly choosing when you decide someone is that person worth locking into. When things go sideways, are they more invested into understanding you or defending themselves? Do they defend their image or protect the connection you guys have? Because if they can't sit with discomfort of self-reflection, if they shut down when they should be showing up, then you're choosing someone who will save themselves at your emotional expense, at your emotional sacrifice. They'd sooner sacrifice you and what you need and you guys being locked in together, right? Just so they can save their image they want to see themselves as, their ego, so they can protect their insecurities, right? They're more consumed by their own inner work that needs to be done, their wounds, than they are consumed with the bond you guys are creating for the foundation and the sanctity of the relationship you're trying to uphold for the long haul. That is not as important as taking care of whatever their insecurities are, whatever their ego is trying to get them to do. And let me say this to be gracious here, right? This is not an intentional, they want to choose their image over you in the relationship. It's wounds. Whenever we have wounds, our mind and body naturally is designed to try to do what it can do to take care of the wounds. It's a survival reflex. So their subconscious mind's going to do its job and get them to try to champion for that over championing with you, because if they focus on you and the bond over that wound, then now that wound is left unattended to, which is a scary thing on a survival level. So their mind and body will make that more prevalent and make it harder for them to get out of their way. Then it will make it easier for them to, notice that's there, but still try to do the healthier thing, and which is in process loving you simultaneously, right? And look, you get some people that are somewhat consciously aware of this, and they still are choosing the wound over you because the wound leaves them in a really vulnerable space that they don't know what to do with. But understand, whenever you are vetting someone that you've been dating for a while, and you've been molding towards something with, and you're noticing moments where they do choose that ego over you, they're telling you in so many ways, hey, I'm not going to choose the love for you and to love on you the way I need to in the moments that are most important, whenever that circumstance requires me to not choose my ego. Look, this is never about finding someone perfect, because that doesn't exist. And as I've said in many videos before, the idea of perfection anyways robs the gift of growth. You never want perfect, because perfect means you can't get better. There's nothing to look forward to. It's real monotonous. It's boring, right? You want to be able to keep evolving. You don't want to have limitations on your growth capabilities. So perfection is never the goal. Healthy is the goal, though, right? Workable is the goal. Someone that's growth minded is the goal. Someone that's willing to do that, right? So you need someone who's willing to lock in with you and rebuild whenever you guys go through that crash and burn for the moment, for the time being. Not someone who makes you feel like you're rebuilding alone, like you're on an island by yourself trying to pick the pieces up and put it together for you and for them, while they just sit there and choose their ego and choose their pride, right? That's not the person you want. And I'm saying this because a lot of you are dating people, and that person's great in so many ways. They have great personality, have all these great potential, and all the stuff's there, right? They show all these flashes of amazing character, and there's just some beautiful parts to them that's like, wow, it's so amazing. But the moment you get into something that's sticky or rough, or that really hits you in your emotional chords because you feel a way about it with them, about something they did, something they said, somewhere that they fell short of the mark on, they dropped the ball on, that left you in an emotional space, and you need to work through it with them so you can feel good about it and feel reassured and connected again, they chose their ego, or they choose it consistently. Because look, again, none of us are perfect. Some of us do still have a next level of conquering our ego to get to sometimes, but we're at least aware of it, and we're willing to and able to acknowledge it at points and check it sometimes, because all of us has an ego, right? And sometimes we haven't cultivated it or mastered it enough to where it can step in different moments when it shouldn't, right? But that's one thing versus someone who more regularly chooses that ego. A good sign of that is the person that can never say sorry, right? Even though they're wrong, it's like it's cringy for sorry to come out of their mouth, right? Or I apologize, or that was my fault, and just to own that. Because on a deeper level, owning that verbally and out loud means they have to validate a lie they tell themselves internally from a wound that says they're not enough, or says if they are ever the person that did something wrong, then they're a problem. They're not worthy of love. All these really unhealthy, toxic narratives under the hood in their subconscious, which on the surface makes it the worst thing in the world to admit wrongdoing, because on some level to them, admitting wrong means admitting that they're bad and they're not worth something we all deserve, which is immense love, right? That's how deep the rabbit hole goes when you deal with someone that does fight things like sorry, or, goes to war with you to not just take accountability and all those kind of things. That's where it's coming from. So you got to ask yourself, can you really ever truly build a lasting relationship with someone that's coming from that space of struggle? Because when the love is real in the healthy way that you need it to be, it doesn't run from the fire at all. No, no, no. It goes and grabs a bucket and helps you put it out. Your partner leans in and says, okay, hey, I know my bad. I got these things that I'm working on. Yeah, that's on me. Yeah, that part is on me. I can own that. I do need to work on that. You're right. I love you. I don't want you to feel bad about this, and that's something I'm working on. I take ownership there, Then they go into maybe how they feel and ask something of you in return, right? The collaborative effort. That's what someone who is right to lock in with you forever and take the privilege to stand next to you, because it is a privilege to stand next to you in your precious life that you only get one go around with. And you should treat it as such. So if you need help cultivating yourself to be able to make the right sound decisions on the person you're thinking of locking in with, or the person you're already dealing with, that you want to make sure that you're not making the wrong choice if something feels a little off, so you don't set yourself up for failure with your precious life and the future goal you have for a relationship, then email or DM me the word coaching and we'll get to work, only if you're truly ready to put that work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time, space, and maybe even the resources, at least email or DM me the word transformation, and I'll send you the link to one of my transformation courses that'll teach you the same things I teach my clients one-on-one at your own pace, on your own time, at a resource level more fit toward your circumstances right now. Either way, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.